welcome to the Demo Dive, where I live stream myself digging through Steam's demo tag to sort the trash from the treasure. I'm CB, and in the immortal words of Zeke from the faculty, it's too damn hot, and I've got zero fucking tolerance. I am a raccoon. I am fluffy. I was not meant for 30 plus degree heat. So I'm going to cheer myself up by flagging up as how Josh Hartnett, who played the aforementioned Zeke, did manage to move past the teen heartthrob thing of the faculty and the virgin suicides and do pretty well, even if in B movies for the most part. I know Hollywood wants every movie to be a blockbuster. In fact, they kind of need every movie to be a blockbuster, apparently. But fuck that. B movies have their place. Even if we're left in even if we've left the era of double features. Gods, can you imagine double features with movies as long as they are today? That'd need one hell of an intermission. But it would be kind of cool to have like festival all day event kind of thing, but certainly not as profitable as the corporate people want. Anyway, given Hollywood blockbuster budgets, you can have a pretty sizable budget and still be considered a B movie by the translation. Hello. I am distracting myself from both loading shaders and the fact that my little metaphorical dumpster is a pizza oven by focusing on trivia and media studies rants. It's a thing. Although I should probably at least start trying to hyperfocus as another method of taking my mind off the whole pizza oven thing. Seriously, the next person who tells me that climate change is a hoax is going to choke to death on their own shoes. Anyway, before diving into Doki Doki Literature Club on Sunday and having to just devote all my streaming runtime to it so that I knew that it was over and it could stop haunting me, I said that Monday's demo dive would be Psycho Dead, a survival horror game by Moon Catalyst Co. Inc. A new IP apparently, and the vibe of the demo seems to be Control meets Resident Evil with a side of Tormented Souls, vulnerable young woman, though in this case with psychic powers, trying to make her way through, and in this case out of, a facility swarming with monstrosities. This one caught my attention a while ago, and it caught the attention of at least some parts of the gaming news not long thereafter. It sounds promising, but I know a lot depends on where you're standing, where that sort of thing is concerned. So I'm trying the demo tonight to find out A, whether it's going to be quite so, let's say, gratuitous about the vulnerable young woman part as Tormented Souls was. Uh, what? The application is hung and will now close. We apologize for the inconvenience. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's assuming I get to play it at all. People, climate change deniers. Anyone, anyone who decides to be one of those with me will choke to death on their own shoes by my hand. Anyway, I mostly want to see if I can play this game. Because, you know, heat wave plus fibromyalgia does mean that if I can play it feeling like this, I'll be fine. I'm mostly making that assumption that it's going to be difficult because survival horror does have a tendency towards being a little unforgiving, or at least if you're me. Um, I'm going to assume that at some point, as a I have been playing indies for so long that I forgot that shader compiling was a thing. Because this is ridiculous. And if it hangs again, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, beyond like grumble. Well, at least it's going a little faster now. That's helpful. I was gonna say, come on, I might like to get some sleep sometime tonight, but with the heat the way it is, because we're edging into the low mid 30s at the moment, and it's gonna be that way for pretty much the rest of the week. Uh, my sleeping comes in cycles. It's because the sun comes up at like 4:30 in the morning. Um, it and goes down fully at like 9:30, uh, it doesn't get a lot of time to cool down this block of flats. Not to mention, because the windows are only on one side of the building, there's no flow through. So it takes a long time for the various rooms in my little metaphorical dumpster to cool down. So it's usually about the time when the sun comes up that it finally gets cool enough for me to sleep. Then I manage to drag myself through a day at the human coded day job, at which point I usually just collapse because, well, I didn't get enough sleep the previous night, too exhausted, yada. So it's probably going to be like that for the rest of the week, which is less than ideal, but and in all fairness, at least it's at least in part a princess and the pea situation. I don't deal well with discomfort anymore, only because, and I deal with it if it was a relative, if it was a how discomfort used to feel. But right now, discomfort amplifies, same as everything else. So come on, you son of a bitch, compile. And I'm sure this is going to make the name. And I'm sure this is going to make the game look really shiny. As far as I can tell, that seems to be a thing. I think the only thing I've played recently that has anything to do with shaders is actually Veilguard, and it doesn't usually take this long. Well, no, to be fair, it doesn't take long to verify the shaders. Compiling the shaders, which it has to do every single time there's a Windows update or a graphic card driver update, more to the point, then it takes forever and you have to shut down the online or else it takes half the day. But of course, there's no way to make that any more streamlined because, of course, the Veilguard team is scattered to the four winds a long, long time ago. And I don't know what the hell is going on with the gaming industry right now, but that feels like stuff like that feels like the pebble that started the avalanche. As far as I understand, at least part of it is uh, people got to, how do I put this? Uh, Optimistic about line go up during the pandemic when everybody had nothing else to do but play video games, etc., etc. When we were all in lockdown, you know. And then, of course, things went back to normal. We didn't have the time to play the games anymore. The economy went to the place where everything was too expensive, and they decided to streamline because at that point, line is no longer going up. At least not as much as they want it to. Economics just confuses the ever living fuck out of me because they tell you how rich certain people are, and then when you complain that nobody needs that much money, they say, well, it's not liquid, it's not real money. Well, it's not real money, then why can't we have not real money too? Then you find out it's all about credit rating. So it feels like everybody is juggling this bunch of glass balls full of not money with money etched on the glass. And someday everybody's going to drop everything and it's going to be a disaster. But it feels like the entire concept of like the economy is cognitive dissonance on a base level. Like we are juggling this stuff that doesn't really exist, but we're saying it's the most important thing in the whole wide world. Help? What? Sorry, every so often I get ever so slightly, how shall I put this? I don't even know if it's philosophical, more just ranty. And I guess it's something to talk about while we wait for the shaders to kick in. At least it hasn't hung this time. Yes, no, I know that, but the problem is that even then, you that makes you question how much the literal money is worth, because they're the ones who are deciding what everything's worth. So they're deciding how much money they have based on imaginary money. Scenes of explicit violence and gore. Okay. Brightness sessions. Good. Language, English, subtitles on. Aim assist on. I don't think you can. Oh, good. Motion blur is off. I know a lot of people talk about frame rate, but I have no the fuck idea what that means, so. Press any button to continue. Why is there a statue of Atlas holding a globe made of a human brain? One thing I am going to do is turn down the music volume just a weensy bit. Okay. Yeah, that should do. Okay. Oh, great. We have this is already a really good start. We have story mode. Sorry, I get really excited when something has a story mode because you know, the fibro. An easier difficulty for those who want to mainly enjoy the story. Auto checkpoint, increased item drops, enemies are less deadly. Psychic energy fully refills. As hard as Nightmare Addiction difficulty, save only with floppy disk. No auto checkpoint. Emily's are more aggressive. Fewer item drops. Why would psychic energy not fully refill? Hey, you cannot change your... That's interesting. Usually you can change your difficulties during gameplay, but I don't care. Elixia? Sounds like what... It sounds like what a pharmaceutical company would name somebody.
How is she?
Not good. She's lost a lot of blood. Her pulse is weakening.
Get her into the recovery chamber now.
But we can't guarantee she'll make it through.
Do we have any other choice?
Okay.
How could this happen? This is all on you, Rose. You're the one who taught these kids about the outside world.
Yes, keep in mind, I haven't played Dishonored.
I can't just raise them like lab animals.
Do you realize how much this incident has cost the company?
Well, you're an asshole.
It's one of our most promising assets. And the board will not be pleased about this.
That's exactly why we can't afford to lose her.
This is too risky. The recovery process will take time. She could lose her memory, or worst case, never wake up again.
I believe she'll come back. Traditional treatments wouldn't save her anyway. Isn't this still better than losing one of Project Regalia?
Oh, fine. Only because your work has been invaluable to Atlas Group. I'll trust your decision this time.
Thank you, sir. Sweet dreams, Elixir. Rest well.
Okay. I am getting a little tired of video games not reminding of it. They do the trigger warnings, but they never do the flashing images warnings. Okay, hello, research facility.
Elixia, it's me, Rose. I know you're probably confused, but I don't have time to explain. Something horrible is happening here. You need to find me in the control room. It's not far from where you are.
What? What's going on? Why can't I remember anything? Where am I?
Okay. Whoa. Huh. There is actually something written on that, but I don't know exactly what it says. It starts with, if this is the first time you've... Subject Recovery Report, R08. Since the incident in 1995, Subject R08 has made a complete physical recovery within just 1 month. All external and internal injuries have fully healed. However, there have been no signs of cognitive or neural reactivation. She remains unresponsive. Medical and research personnel have determined that any attempt to forcibly awaken her at this stage may pose significant risk to her brain function, potentially causing irreversible neurological damage.
Is this report about me?
Okay. Seeing if there's anything in... Yeah, this is another one that was pretty clearly made with a controller in mind. The camera is a little wonky.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Okay, fine. What the hell? Wait a minute. Right. I'm trying to remember what... Great. I thought I... What am I doing to crouch again? Okay, options... Control... Psychic mode hold, invert sprint type toggle, off. Oh, control is crouch. Okay, that's interesting. I would so want to change the keybinds on this fucker. C should be crouch, gods damn it.
What happened here? Why are there so many bodies?
Glowing bracelet, okay.
What is this?
I am betting this is another version of us.
What is really happening here?
Did that girl in the camera kill these soldiers with some supernatural ability? Well, I mean... No, I guess we don't get to read those. Fine. I suppose I get a weapon at some point. I mean, assuming they're going to show me I am one at some point in the not too distant future. What? Hold space to enter psychic. Pressed. Okay, so...
I can use powers too?
Okay, I see what I'm supposed to be doing. Press 2 to change the psychic ability to shock shot? Special inhaler designed to calm the nerves of those who wield the power of Gaia. What? Oh, I see. It's basically a mana potion. What the fuck is that? Why is there goo?
System locked.
Okay, so where do I go instead? Okay, I'm not really sure I wanted to do any of that. I have a feeling there's things in there. Okay, I would very much like for your head to be exploding now, thank you. I probably could have used telekinesis. I don't care. That looked like an illithid. Oh.
What was that thing?
That's an emergency exit. That looks promising. Okay, the fact that it keeps doing that is a huge crush ability. Okay, what was that?
Freeze! Don't move! Who are you?
Wait, please! Don't shoot! I don't know what's going on here.
What's your name?
I'm Alexia. I can't remember much of anything.
White hair, red eyes. Yeah, it's definitely her. Alpha team, we've located subject R08. Roger that. We'll secure her now.
What? Where are you taking me?
Listen, girl, we're not here to... What the hell is that thing?
Was that really necessary?
Maybe I can squeeze into this air vent. System. That was close.
Okay.
System locked.
Okay.
What's that? Tell me. It's going to shoot!
So I don't know how to select the health options. It's not really helpful in that regard. Is it going to get up or is it just twitching? Yeah, how do you change the item that you're using? Oh, I see. I am getting so tired of following blood trails around this place. Oh, for fuck's sake. I swear I run these things just to find. Okay, you're gone.
A pistol?
Okay.
Maybe I can use this. Just in case I can't rely on my powers.
Amazing how you have zero memory or very little memory, but you remember a pistol. Maybe I should not be wasting bullets on a flesh wall. No, that's where I just came in. Okay. Fuck, where'd you go? Fuck. Fuck, I'm out of ammo. Okay. Well, the camera's problem was the camera, in as far as that went. It's a little loosey-goosey. What the ever-loving fuck? Are you seeing this? Yeah, that's like the Mass Effect tune, not just any Reaper, but with, what the hell?
Oh my god. What is that thing? Why does it look like me?
And why is it made of eyes on one side? My issue is, what the fuck does she look... How the fuck does she know what she looks like? We have not seen a mirror in this place.
Elixia!
Dr. Rose!
You remember her?
Back.
I think I can destroy this door.
Why isn't this working?
This door's reinforced against compression. You've just woken up. Your powers might not be at full strength yet.
What's going on? My memories, they're all mixed up.
What do you remember?
Not much. I remember being hurt really badly and brought for treatment.
Maybe it's a good thing that you don't remember. What matters is that you're safe now.
Where am I? And what happened here? I've been encountering those creatures.
I know you must have a lot of questions. Right now, this place is swarming with creatures. We need to get out of here together. But we'll have to rely on your powers.
I'm so confused.
Once we're out of here, I promise to explain everything you want to know. But first, you need to change. There's a locker with clothes right next to you.
Dr. Rose, how are we supposed to open this door?
The only way out of this lab floor is through this door. But to unlock it, we'll need both the red key and the blue key. They're stored in separate safes, which can only be accessed with my key card to reveal the lock code. I left a spare key card in my office. It's not far from here.
Understood. I'll find a way.
Okay. Well, I've had checkpoints, so I should be okay. I'm honestly looking for, like, I don't suppose we have, like, bullets or something? Apparently not. Ugh. I'm gonna check something. Camera. Ah, here we go. Slightly better?
Access.
Yeah, okay.
Denied.
Another key card looking key card machine. Elevator's not available. No power to the elevator. So where am I supposed to go?
Access denied.
I am aware. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do this malarkey with the...
This must be Dr. Rose's office.
Undergraduate Award for Excellence in Biological Research, 1979. Rosaline Grace received this award for her early discoveries in genetic stability, marking the beginning of her rise as a young prodigy. International Award for Early Scientific Achievement, 1981. Rosaline Grace was honored for groundbreaking research on accelerated cell growth and genetic stability, which I am assuming... Yeah, I'd say I'm sorry, but I'm not. I love my sniping. Um, yeah, but it looks like they are trying to change cell growth from, accelerated cell growth from, like, tumorous problem to should have been something healing, but yeah, the Emerging Biotech Award, uh, Rosalind Grace recognized for innovative contributions to biotechnology, genetic reprogramming. Nobel Prize in Biology, 1983. Youngest laureate in history for pioneering work in human cell reprogramming. Cloning animal. World's first successful large-scale animal cloning experiment. Hang on. I need to look something up. I'm just seeing if I can organism cloning. First method, steps, large scale. Alternate history where all of that stuff came up about 10 years earlier than might have been, because Dolly, I think some of you are too young to really remember Dolly, the cloned sheep, but she was introduced to the world in 1997. A Nobel Prize in DNA Engineering, 1989. Rosalind Grace received her third Nobel Prize for innovations in DNA engineering, breaking the world record for the most Nobel Prizes awarded to a single individual.
Whoa, Dr. Rose won this many awards? What level of genius does it take to achieve that?
Yeah, but this feels like one of those things where genius is not always a great thing. Letter of appreciation. Dear Ms. Rosaline Grace, on behalf of the company, we would like to sincerely thank you for your outstanding work and wholehearted dedication over the past period. Your research has been exceptionally remarkable and invaluable to our organization. It has not only laid a solid foundation for the company, but also played a crucial role in enabling us to develop new products effectively, allowing the company to no longer worry about financial matters. What? Is he ever living fuck? We fully recognize that the success comes from your commitment, creativity, and sacrifice. We sincerely appreciate your hard work and dedication to the company, and please rest assured that the company will reward you appropriately and in accordance with the value you've created. With highest respect and gratitude, President of Atlas Club, date October 22nd, 1999. That's a placatory letter. Letter of appreciation, yeah, but it sounds like she wasn't feeling particularly appreciated, because if she felt appreciated, why would they be writing her this? Somebody sleeps at the office a bit too often. Yeah, I'm still going to want to tweak this camera if I actually play it. Dr. Rose's personal keycard, confirm. What the hell? A psycho-injector, okay.
Atlas Group, the world's largest war weapons manufacturer, has developed a bioweapons division that has crossed a dangerous new threshold. A new generation of bioweapons is escalating the current war to crisis levels. These weapons spread rapidly, are nearly impossible to contain, and mutate to resist treatment. Casualties are mounting quickly among both military personnel and civilians. The United Nations has issued an urgent statement demanding the immediate cessation of their use, while multiple nations scramble to develop defense systems. Experts warn this could spiral into a global catastrophe without swift and decisive intervention.
Well, that's some Resident Evil bullshit. So basically, she did this whole bunch of stuff. Well, all things considered, given it sounds like everything they did, every bit of medical, etc., help that they've provided from their point of view, from her research, uh, she probably found out that there was going to be some issues with her research, and nobody wanted to believe her because they were making so much money. And now apparently stuff like the monsters are happening globally. So that's an interesting thing. Like I say, this is some Resident Evil bullshit, except replace Raccoon City with, at least in this case, the entire United States. Or whatever country that's happening in. Because, I mean, you kind of assume. I mean, to be fair, I mostly assume because of the accents and the shape of the cigarette packets, Canada never really had. At least I don't remember Canada ever really having cigarette packets that looked like that. So, yeah, I mean, desperately needs yes, go to bioweapons. Go directly to bioweapons. Do not pass go. Do not click. But and yeah, it sounds like the bioweapons are backfiring. I mean, it's this one is it's something to get used to, I think. It's I'm used to a little more control over what the camera is looking at. I mean, you've seen me playing fixed camera games, and that never works out. But again, maybe I should try that now that I have a controller. But I'm used to being able to move my camera to look in different directions than my character's looking. But this is a very classic Resident Evil shoulder mounted third person camera, which is a little better than an FPS kind of situation. Not that much. And as you could see with the zombie around tight, well, zombie, they looked like illithids. Illithid around tight corners, yeah, definitely needs either a great deal of control, wrist or camera camera joystick thumb, whatever, or turning down the sensitivity of the mouse thing. I don't know if it could have used more or more toning down or not. Probably, because in my case, my issue is not so much the pain, because I can hyper focus past the pain. I occasionally get spasms where I'm accidentally like. Sometimes it's just I'm accidentally clicking things without thinking, but well, without meaning to. But also, there'll occasionally be uh, twitches of the cursor that I didn't mean to make. And for a game where your line of sight depends entirely on that, that's kind of a problem. But I was managing better when I turned down the sensitivity a couple of notches, so that's something. I'm finding from a actual playing it point of view that even beyond the hypersensitivity of the movement controls, or well, at least the camera controls, some of it's a little wonky in terms of how it moves, how characters move, and what happens there. The shield, I could have used something visual to show that yeah, the shield is operating. But you don't get that, which is mildly problematic. But what are you gonna do? Um, I mean, obviously, survival horror bullets are at a premium. You're probably better off with psychic abilities, but they don't tend to explain to you which you can use on creatures and what you can only use on things. I admit I wanted to force smush that one illithid around that corner, just squish, bye. But no, apparently we don't get to do that. Compression is not something we're allowed to do on the squishy, which strikes me as decidedly unfair because they've made squish all over the walls. Why can't I? Beyond that, I am kind of curious to find out what the ever loving fuck is going on. I have a few guesses, but yeah, there's some distinctly Resident Evil shit going on over here. Um, the the likening to control only really happens on the grounds of I have no idea what's going on. The entire facility has gone weird, but it kind of misses the there's a little less of the eldritch here. This is body horror mostly. This is uh survival action adventure with body horror effectively at this point. Well, that's the thing. If you splatter enough, given that they're talking about accelerated cell growth, meat moss will happen eventually. or the meat moss will kind of come and eat the rest of the blood that I've splattered all over the walls. I'm assuming that meat moss knows how to use meat to increase its size. Humans can. Why not it? And yeah, you know that I'm at least vaguely invested in a game when I'm doing the Jenga Tower of Logic with exactly how I can splatter enemies or not, and the exact nature of the meat moss. There's always fucking meat moss. I get it. It's gross and it feels like it's one of those metaphors for no matter how clean and tidy and orderly your system is, chaos is going to come through eventually. But all the same, it feels like they looked at Silent Hill and went, well, we can't just do that. Let's just splatter meat everywhere. And it's like, okay, but I get it's a metaphor for entropy, but we could have something else. I mean, compost bins don't look like that. I know from personal experience. I have dealt with many compost heaps. It doesn't look like that. There are more things crawling through that could be a good way of metaphorically dealing with the idea of entropy and decay of a system. You have unidentifiable wall squidge, but have things crawling in it. Squidge, 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 squidge. Because that would make you wonder, are the monsters I'm fighting birthed from those? Are they infectious, etc., etc.? And you could liken it to things what we generally don't see are thriving in this entropic, chaotic atmosphere. But no, we just get meat because apparently that's the scariest thing we can think of, which strikes me as a distinct lack of imagination. It's a bit like I was watching some reaction videos about this film that Ralph Fiennes was in, The Menu, and apparently when people heard comedy horror, well, comedy-ish horror, and The Menu, everybody immediately goes to fucking cannibalism. And let me tell you, it isn't cannibalism, and it's so much better for that. Like, I'm sorry, I get the taboo, especially if it's being done in a non-survival situation. But let's face it, bodies are just meat cars for the soul anyway. I mean, obviously, it's only something you do if you're desperate, because, like, there's generally better. Humans don't really taste all that good, as far as I've ever heard, and there's a certain respect angle going on there. But at the same time, I don't understand why it's such a taboo that, like, it's the worst thing anyone could think of that could happen to your body ever. I mean, in all fairness, I think maybe part of the reason that they go to cannibalism is something they fear is that they fear not being on the top of the food chain anymore. And I'm getting into media studies mode again. I will apologize for that. So this one, I think I probably keep it in my mid to low spot on the wish list. Buy it when it's on sale, probably kind of thing, just on the grounds of story interesting, controls a little janky. And And I'd want to change the keybinds. Control for crouch, really? Come on. Oh, and I see they wanted the right hand arrow keys for the moving around your items menu. I missed just an inventory screen, but I get why they don't have it. This is the UI was so, again, more Resident Evil, more survival horror, although I never call these things survival horror because, I mean, to be fair, this one's a little closer, but you still have a gun and psychic powers. Like, that part is more psychological body horror because what did they do to me? What am I? Where did I come from? But at the same time, survival horror tends to be I don't have very many ways at all to fight back. Yes, for me, I've mostly seen C as the most common ones for crouch, so that's the one I'd want just because that stretch is a little much for me anyway. I've always found C works better, but I'll have to see what they have. If I get the game, I'll have to see what they have tagged to see. Anyway, point being that it's one I am interested to find out what it is about, but at the same time, there are so many things I'd want to do from a quality of life perspective, and I don't know where they got their assets from, but I'm not entirely sure about some of their priorities assets wise. Um, then again, I can only imagine how hard it is to make anything protagonist, NPC, whatever, move fluidly. I imagine that takes a lot. I'm not a game dev. I don't know how to build anything like that, but I imagine that it's tricky. And given this is a new IP from a new dev studio, I should be kinder about that. And it's not that I'm being unkind, I get it. It's just that that makes it harder for me. And that doesn't mean that the game's not good. That just means that that makes it an issue that I need to get past by making it easier for me to play in other areas. I think that's the whole thing about these and why I like them when you can really customize the user interface and everything like that. There's a lot of people who like playing video games and not all of them are purely abled. Some of us in fact are profoundly disabled to some degree or other, and in cases like mine, sometimes all it takes to be able to get through some of the hard parts is to make the other ones as easy as possible. But then you get some games that are there for the being hard and you can't really customize much of anything. It's always ironic because the people who defend those are like, well, maybe it's just not for you, and then bitch about games that aren't made for them. Because apparently everything should be made for them and never for us. But yeah, I'll have to look into the developer at some point. I don't know why they insist on putting everything in all caps, but I'm always interested in what a new studio doing something this ambitious is. You know, how they got the money, etc. I mean, particularly when you consider Sandfall Interactive had a similar kind of a situation with Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Not this one's not getting as much press, obviously, but I guess once the way is paved, and again, we don't know if they have angel investors deal with Kepler. Eh, Great, now I'm going into the industry bits. And it is getting rather late, so yeah, we've got a somewhat vague release date for this one. It's coming out in Q4 2026. So this means that the demo should be around a while, and they're going to be updating it. They have been for the last little while, ever since I downloaded it. Um, So, give this one a shot. If it looks like one you'll like, you'll probably have an easier time than I would, all things considered. And sometimes the feel of playing a game can make or break your enjoyment. Again, it's not like my opinion is the be all and end all. For those who like a text based and digression free review, that'll be up on my Ko-fi page shortly. Never a paywall, I do it for the love of the games, but maybe toss some folks in my general direction if you like what I do. I like the company. And again, I am only 4 subs short of affiliate status. I mostly just want this just so that I can schedule flexibly. Anyway, the review will have the embedded VOD, such as it is, and that'll also wind up on YouTube to join my gallery of epic, ridiculous, and more than occasionally profane flail, in case you joined late or just fancy coming back to it later. There's no real room for so-called official Backlog Burrow content this Sunday, as it's a D&D weekend, But depending on how hard the heat hits and how badly it mucks with my sleep patterns, I may be streaming a bit during the week. Either way, my next foray into the backlog burrow will be another indie darling I missed when it first came out. Dungeons of Hinterberg, a neat looking sort of hacky slashy ish adventure game by Microbird Games. As for the demo dive, the next one's going to be another playtest. As I mentioned last week, I got into the playtest for You vs. Zombies, a post apocalyptic roguelite by 106 Games. I don't normally go in for roguelites or roguelikes or anything in that demographic, but let's face it, some people throw terms like that around a little willy nilly, so I'm giving it a shot just in case. Besides, some of the folks I know do play these kinds of games, and they might have more fun than I will, so they deserve to see it, even if they're seeing it played incredibly badly. Though, as always, the next demo I play on the demo dive is subject to change depending on mood and what's giving me the dopamine on that particular day. Still, whatever I choose should hopefully be entertaining, so I hope to see you there. Until then, or until next, have a good one.